What's up, guys? This is FreakEng. Hey, I wanted to just really quick welcome Baron von Spee to the show. Really quick, you want to say hi?
Hey, how's it going?
It's good to have you here. Hey, really quick, before we get into, we have a couple questions from the clan, but I want to talk about really quick. Hey, this clan has existed for a few days now, not even a week, and we've already got some really cool things going on. We crushed our clan chest challenges for so many of our clans. Some of the other ones that are a little smaller, we will get there, you know. But it was a good first weekend. With Onyx, he's in Christian Clan 2, my clan, he had 358 crowns, which I did the math, that is 22% of our trophies that we needed. Like, that's one guy. Pretty crazy. Love it, though. Love it. What'd you say?
That's really impressive.
It is. And so the other thing I wanted to mention is Baron hosted a surprise tournament, and that was last night, Tuesday. And so the Bandit won that one, followed closely by Jet Rider YouTube and Jesus 7. That was a lot of fun. I wasn't able to be a part of it for more than a couple rounds, but it's fun watching those guys play. They're just very good. So
some
congratulations.
Really interesting decks in that one. People, if Bandit still has it showing, people need to check out his deck. He's running with Goblin Gang, and that's kind of cool. He was using it pretty effectively.
Oh, wow, yeah. I always like seeing people use cards that are kind of anti-meta, you know. That's good. So I had a couple people ask questions, and if you have a question that you'd like to ask either Baron or I in an upcoming podcast, please send it to us on the app line. You can direct message it to either myself or to Baron, and we'll put it in the show notes. But the first question, and Baron, maybe you can answer this, is why did we call the clan ChristianClash?
You know, that's a great question. We had Christian Clan, we had Jesus Freaks, and so obviously merging together, we wanted to find a name that, was different, was unique. One of the things we didn't like about Christian Clan was, let's be honest, it was a bit of a boring name. I came up with it on the fly when we created the clan originally a year ago on global release. And so it was we wanted something that was a little bit kind of cool, something that has some jazz to it. And Christian Clash is awesome. It's a good name because we are Clashers, we are Christians. It kind of ties in with the name of the game, obviously, Clash Royale. And one of the other things, too, was there weren't many clans called that. As I did some searching on other clans that were Christian-oriented clans, I was taking a look at a lot of ideas that I liked or things that I know our members had brought up before. And there were a lot of people that already had taken those names. And there was only one other clan that was kind of small that had Christian Clash. So I knew it was a space that we could occupy to ourselves. And it's really cool if people actually go and do a search on clans and just search Christian Clash. You can see all of our clans right there. It's easy to find. Our main three clans, our feeders, etc. So it's really cool to do that. So it's a good name. It gives us a chance to add those numbers or letters on the end so we can expand and include other people. So hopefully people like it. Obviously, it's kind of what we're stuck with now. We're certainly not going to do a big move again anytime soon.
No kidding.
Kind of crazy. So hopefully people like it. And as far as the clan badge is concerned, just a history on that for people. You and I talked, and we wanted to do a merge in a very fair spirit that included a name which was kind of similar to Christian Clan, but also had the badge that you guys were running over Jesus Freaks, which is a great badge. It's got the cross there. Everybody realizes, we're a Christian clan. We love God. So hopefully people are cool with the name that was kind of similar to what we had, but the badge that was the exact badge that you guys had before. So that's kind of the genesis on how that all went down.
Yeah, in the spirit of the merger, it ended up being a good kind of compromise. And what I loved is, especially what you said, and I want to make sure that this is not lost in all of the information, is if you search Christian Clash, we are basically it, other than one other clan. And so
exactly.
I'm glad you said that because because as you're building a brand, you want to be able to stand out, and that's exactly what we were trying to do, is if we are going to be, and obviously copycats may come, like it came with Nova, not that we're on the same level, but that kind of thing could happen. And as we were considering even Jesus Freaks, one frustration I had with that name is that if you search Jesus Freaks, there are a million of them. and it's so hard
Exactly.
to cut through the noise. And so that's what really made sense for Christian Clash. So I hope that answered your question. The second question is more of a personal question for me and you, Baron. Is what is your testimony? So why don't you go first, and then I can finish up.
Wow, that's going to be tough to condense in a few minutes. That's going to be one of these that we could do an entire, future podcast on. But
it's really true.
Just quickly, I grew up I grew up in a Christian home, so I was blessed to have parents who love the Lord. But I grew up in a mainline Protestant church. Honestly, I didn't find God. And so as a teenager, I really was searching for a real relationship with our Creator. And I just didn't find the church. It was very formal. It was very, kind of sit down, stand up, and repeat the same lines over and over again. So I just didn't feel like I was getting fed. And in all honesty, I just sat down one day, I think 15 or so, 14, and I just started reading the Bible, and God jumped out at me. And it was just amazing when I took the time and effort to really just go and seek the Lord. He was right there just waiting for me. And the words jumped out on the page. I had a fire that I had never experienced before in my life to that point. And I just got super convicted. And it wasn't a pastor saying anything cool. It wasn't a neat sermon. It wasn't, you get these euphoric experiences from like a Christian camp where, oh, it's awesome, I had a great weekend, and I'm just on fire for God. It wasn't any of these things. It was really just reading the Word directly. And so I encourage somebody who really is maybe struggling. Maybe you're at a church, especially our younger members. If you're just at a place where you're not really finding God, just go to the Word. Just honestly, I just started with Matthew, and I just sat down and read it. And I think I read it in just a couple of days, and it literally got me on fire for God. So I was super excited after that. So just go into the Word, dive in, find a good place to start. Go into the New Testament, take a look at Matthew. Romans is a great place to start. I kind of skipped Mark, Luke, and John after that and went to Romans because I had heard it was such a good book. And those two together really are the basis for my faith. I just sat down and read them, and God clearly spoke to me about, hey, here's who I am. Here's who I want you to be as a Christian person. So take the time to do that.
Yeah, that's a great answer. It's funny when you're listening to your story. I have a lot in common. Christian home. My dad's a pastor, and so for me, it was always around me, but it never really was my own until I actually worked at a Christian camp, and for me, that's where I really got to see God move, and that kind of is what started a lot of it for me. But then it wasn't until I just decided for myself, hey, I'm just gonna read the New Testament, and I just kind of took one book at a time. Started off with some smaller ones that you could read in 20 minutes or so, just to kind of because it's a little overwhelming to say I'm going to read the whole New Testament, So
That's right.
I'd read like, Philippians or something like that where you can just kind of plow through it and it's not a big deal. And then I remember there was a summer where I just felt like I was being called to teach, and this was after I felt the call to ministry, and so I was in Bible college, and I taught through the book of Romans with a couple of my friends, and it just kind of one of those cool things where it was, maybe 10 of us every week, 15 of us every week. And I think I grew more than anyone else that summer because I really had to spend time in Romans and look up what everything meant. And it's just a thick, dense book that is just very rich. And so that really challenged me. Yeah. Do you have anything to add, Baron? Otherwise, I think this is good. We're done.
No, I could go on, but honestly, just ground yourself in the Word. Find a Bible-believing church. Ground yourself into that. And when I was in college, the other thing that I found was finding a group of people who share your faith. And so I really encourage you, no matter where you're at. I know we've got preteens, teenagers, we've got college students, we've got adults, we've got everybody in this clan and the family of clans. Just find a group of people, whether that's an adult small group, whether it's a group on your campus, high school or college. That really, I started in the Word myself, but it really didn't take hold, I don't think, until I found a good, solid group of Christian people that I could, iron sharpens iron, you know what I mean? And so when you can find that group of people that you can spend time with, you can worship with, fellowship with, do Bible studies with, I encourage you really to find that, and your faith really is going to grow at that point.
Love it. With that, hey, we are going to end. And so thank you so much for listening, to this Christian Clash podcast. Episode 2, stay tuned for the next one. And if you are not in our clan, you can go ahead and search us, Christian Clash, and you can find us and get plugged in. So thank you so much for listening, and tune in next time.